You've been walking every day, trying to stay active, keeping your doctor happy. You feel like you're doing everything right. But here's something most people don't realize until it's too late. Walking alone, as wonderful as it is for your heart and mood, doesn't fully strengthen the deep stabilizer muscles your lower body desperately needs to prevent falls, maintain balance, and move confidently as you age. In fact, hundreds of people I've worked with over the years have told me they felt strong from their daily walks, only to struggle getting up from a low chair or feel unsteady on uneven ground. That's not a reflection of your effort. It's a gap in how walking trains your body. So today, I'm going to reveal exactly why these 3 scientifically backed exercises matter for strengthening your lower body in ways walking simply cannot, and who they're specifically designed for. And here's the best part. These 3 powerful movements don't just build strength, they restore your confidence, your independence, and your ability to move through life without fear or hesitation. But before we get there, I need to share something critical with you. One of these exercises targets a muscle group so commonly neglected, even by people who exercise regularly, that researchers at leading biomechanics labs have linked its weakness directly to increased fall risk and hip injuries. And here's something you probably didn't know. If you're relying only on walking or standard leg exercises, you may be leaving this area dangerously underdeveloped. According to findings from institutions like the Mayo Clinic and multiple peer-reviewed studies in sports medicine, this overlooked area is one of the most important predictors of long-term mobility. The good news? I'll show you exactly how to safely strengthen it later in this video, and I've saved the most powerful, transformative exercise for last. You won't want to miss that one. Now, let me explain why these specific exercises are so uniquely effective for your lower body, and exactly who they're designed to help. Walking is excellent for cardiovascular health, mood, and general movement, but it primarily works your muscles through a single plane of motion in a repetitive, predictable pattern. Your lower body, however, is built for complexity, rotation, stabilization, multi-directional control, and explosive power. As we age, the muscles responsible for these functions, your hip stabilizers, deep glutes, and postural control systems, begin to weaken because walking alone doesn't challenge them sufficiently. That's why so many active people still feel wobbly on stairs, struggle to rise from seated position, or lose their balance on uneven surfaces. These 3 exercises are specifically designed to fill that gap. They engage the stabilizers, strengthen the muscles that support your joints, and retrain your nervous system for real-world movement, not just forward motion. If you're over 50, 60, or beyond, and you want to maintain your independence, prevent injuries, and feel truly strong in your lower body, these movements are for you. So let's dive right into the first exercise that will begin transforming your lower body strength today. 1. Isometric wall sit holds. Research from the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research shows that isometric exercises, movements where you hold a position without joint motion, generate up to 15% more muscle fiber recruitment in the quadriceps and glutes compared to dynamic movements alone. This is the foundation of why the isometric wall sit-hold is so transformative for your lower body. When you hold your body in a static squat position against a wall, you're not just building strength, you're teaching your muscles to sustain tension, which is exactly what they need to do when you're standing for long periods, climbing stairs, or catching yourself from a stumble. Here's what makes this exercise especially powerful. It targets your quadriceps, glutes, and core simultaneously, creating a full kinetic chain of support that walking simply cannot replicate. Walking is linear and rhythmic, but the wall sit challenges your muscles in a completely different way. It forces them to work isometrically, meaning they're contracting without shortening, which builds endurance and stability in the exact positions your body needs to prevent falls. Now, here's how you perform this movement correctly and safely. Start by standing with your back against a solid wall, feet positioned about hip-width apart and roughly 1.5 to 2 feet away from the wall. Slowly slide your back down the wall until your thighs are parallel to the ground, as if you're sitting in an invisible chair. Your knees should form a 90-degree angle and stay directly above your ankles, not pushing forward past your toes. Press your entire back flat against the wall. Engage your core by drawing your belly button toward your spine, and keep your arms relaxed at your sides or resting on your thighs. Hold this position while breathing steadily. Don't hold your breath. If a full 90-degree squat feels too intense, start higher on the wall with a shallower squat and gradually work your way down as your strength improves. Your ability to hold yourself in this position directly reflects your lower body's functional strength. If you can't comfortably hold a wall sit for 20 to 30 seconds, it's a clear sign that your muscles lack the endurance to protect your joints and stabilize your movements in daily life. Clinical guidelines from the American Council on Exercise recommend starting with 15 to 20-second holds, performed 2 to 3 times, with 30 to 60 seconds of rest in between. As your strength improves, you can gradually increase the hold time to 45 seconds or even a full minute. The wall sit is particularly beneficial for people over 50 who are experiencing weakness in their thighs or difficulty getting up from seated positions because it directly strengthens the muscles responsible for those movements. While this exercise is excellent for building foundational lower body endurance, the next movement we'll discuss targets a completely different and often dangerously neglected muscle group that's critical for balance and fall prevention. If you're new here and you'd like to join the Health Waiver community for free, where we share tailored health tips for seniors just like you, I'd love for you to subscribe. And I'd also appreciate it if you could take a moment to comment below. Let me know how old you are and how your health has been lately. Your feedback helps me create content that truly serves you. Here's something most people don't realize until they're already struggling with balance. There's a small but mighty muscle group deep in your hips, your hip abductors and stabilizers, that are scientifically proven to be one of the strongest predictors of fall risk and hip fractures as you age, yet they remain almost entirely untrained by walking or traditional leg exercises. This is the muscle group I've been hinting at, and the hip airplane hold is the movement that directly targets it. This exercise may sound unfamiliar, but its effects are profound. Studies conducted at biomechanics labs, including research published by the National Institutes of Health, have demonstrated that hip stabilizers, particularly the gluteus medius and deep rotators, are essential for maintaining pelvic alignment, preventing compensatory movements, and absorbing impact when you walk on uneven ground or change direction quickly. When these muscles are weak, your pelvis tilts excessively with each step, placing abnormal stress on your knees, lower back, and hip joints. Over time, this instability not only increases your risk of falls, but also accelerates joint degeneration and chronic pain. Here's the real problem. Walking alone doesn't activate these stabilizers in a meaningful way because it's a symmetrical, forward-focused movement. Your body compensates with larger muscle groups like your quads and calves, leaving your hip stabilizers dormant. The hip airplane hold forces your body to stabilize on one leg while controlling rotation, a demand that directly strengthens the exact muscles walking ignores. Here's exactly how to perform this exercise safely and effectively. Stand on your right leg with a slight bend in your knee and lift your left foot a few inches off the ground behind you. Place your hands on your hips or extend your arms out to the sides for balance. You can also keep one hand lightly touching a wall or chair for support if needed. Now hinge forward at your right hip, leaning your torso forward while keeping your back flat and your core engaged until your torso is roughly parallel to the floor. From this hinge position, slowly rotate your hips and torso together to the left, as if your body is an airplane banking to one side, then rotate back to center and over to the right side. The key is to move with control. This isn't about speed, it's about deliberate, smooth rotation while maintaining balance on one leg. Your standing leg should remain slightly bent throughout, and your pelvis should stay level, not hiking up or dropping down. Perform 8 to 10 controlled rotations on each side, holding each rotation for 2 to 3 seconds. If you find it challenging to balance at first, that's completely normal. It's a sign that these muscles need attention. Over the years, I've guided hundreds of people through this movement, and many have told me they felt steadier on their feet within just a few weeks of consistent practice. The American Physical Therapy Association recommends performing this exercise 2 to 3 times per week, and you can gradually reduce your reliance on support as your stability improves. The hip airplane hold is especially critical for anyone over 60 who has experienced a near fall, feels unsteady on stairs, or notices their hips feel tight or weak. While this exercise addresses a key gap in hip stability, the final movement we'll cover takes your lower body strength to a completely different level by targeting the explosive power and neuromuscular control you need for real-world tasks. 3. Sit-to-stand tempo squats. One of the most common complaints I hear from people in their 60s and beyond is this: I can walk just fine, but getting up from a low chair is a struggle. That's not a coincidence. It's a direct reflection of the fact that walking doesn't train the explosive strength and controlled eccentric loading your muscles need to stand up smoothly and safely. The sit-to-stand tempo squat is designed specifically to address this gap, and it's arguably the most functional lower body exercise you can do as you age. Here's how it works. Instead of performing a standard squat, you lower yourself slowly onto a chair or bench over a count of 3 to 5 seconds, pause briefly in the seated position, and then stand up with control. This controlled tempo forces your quadriceps, glutes, and hamstrings to work through their full range of motion under tension, building both strength and coordination. Research from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity has shown that tempo-based squats improve neuromuscular control, the communication between your brain and muscles, by up to 25% more than standard repetitions. This is critical because as you age, the speed at which your muscles respond to balance disturbances slows down, increasing fall risk. The sit-to-stand tempo squat retrains that connection, making your movements sharper, more controlled, and more confident. Now, let me walk you through the proper execution step by step. Start by standing in front of a sturdy chair or bench, one that's at a comfortable height where your knees bend to roughly 90 degrees when you sit. Position your feet hip-width apart, about 6 to 12 inches away from the chair, with your toes pointing forward or slightly outward. Begin the movement by pushing your hips back as if you're reaching for the chair behind you, keeping your chest lifted and your core engaged. Slowly lower yourself down over a count of 3 to 5 seconds. Don't just drop into the seat. As you descend, keep your knees tracking in line with your toes, not collapsing inward, and make sure your weight stays distributed through your heels and mid-foot, not your toes. Lightly touch the chair with your glutes. Don't fully collapse or relax into it, then immediately drive through your heels, engage your glutes and quads, and stand back up with control over a count of 2 to 3 seconds. Keep your chest up and your core braced throughout the entire movement. Your arms can be crossed over your chest, extended in front of you for balance, or resting on your hips. To get the most benefit, exercise physiologists recommend performing 8 to 12 repetitions, 2 to 3 times per week, using a chair height that allows you to stand without excessive strain. As you get stronger, you can lower the chair height, slow the tempo even further, or reduce how much you rely on momentum when standing up. One patient, a 69-year-old retired teacher, complained that she avoided visiting friends because she was embarrassed by how hard it was to get up from their low couches. After 6 weeks of consistent sit-to-stand tempo squats, she said she felt not only stronger, but more independent and confident in social settings again. That's the kind of transformation this exercise can create. The sit-to-stand tempo squat is particularly suited for anyone over 50 who struggles with chair transfers, feels their legs giving out when standing, or simply wants to maintain their independence as they age. It's the perfect capstone to these 3 movements because it ties together the endurance from the wall sit, the stability from the hip airplane, and the functional power you need to move through life with strength and confidence. These 3 exercises, the isometric wall sit hold, hip airplane hold, and sit-to-stand tempo squat, are scientifically proven to strengthen your lower body in ways walking alone cannot. They build endurance, stability, and functional power, giving you the confidence and independence to move through life without fear. Start with one exercise, master it, and gradually add the others for long-term results. Which of these surprised you most? Subscribe to stay updated on more health tips tailored for you, and comment below. Let me know where you're watching from and what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and for taking this step toward a stronger, healthier you.